over there. But first to the Isle of Skye, we're returning to a one-show investigation. Now, last year we shone a light on the controversial issue of salmon farming, and Joe's back with the latest.
At the end of last year, I was in the Highlands investigating why more than a quarter of farmed salmon are dying on farms in Scotland. 2017 was the worst year on record, with over 25,000 tonnes of fish lost from the food chain, mostly due to sea lice and disease.
What we're seeing here is a forklift tipping big industrial bins just full of dead salmon into this skip.
After we highlighted the scale of the problem, questions were raised in the Scottish Parliament.
An investigation screened on BBC One this week showed how hundreds of tonnes of dead salmon are being shipped across Scotland in lorries, leaking waste onto the roadside.
An inquiry into salmon farming is now underway. And in a significant development last month, a cross-party Environment Committee of MSPs released a report which concluded that further expansion may cause irrecoverable damage to the environment if the industry doesn't change. So today I'm back in Scotland, this time on the Isle of Skye, where a company, Organic Sea Harvest, is applying for permission to create 4 new salmon farms. And the decision on 2 of those farms is going to be made tomorrow. This is one of the first big planning decisions since the MSPs published their reports last month. Allowing new farms to open without changes to current farming practices seems to go against the report's recommendations, as well as the wishes of some on the island. Derek Dowsett is from the Skye District Salmon Fishery Board, which monitors wild salmon stocks. Derek, what are your thoughts on these proposed new salmon farms?
The sea lice will find their way to those fish, and it's a nursery for them.
So you're saying that the sea lice emanating from salmon farms are having an impact on wild fish?
Sea farms are incubating sea lice. The wild fish who are passing those cages get whacked by sea lice.
There probably are other reasons, though, aren't there? Not just salmon farms, that salmon numbers are declining.
There could be many other causes out there that we don't yet know about. But we know about these, and very little at the moment is being done.
Salmon farmers say they are trying to find new ways to combat sea lice. Meanwhile, in the local community, some back the farms.
I would be in favour of that. I just think it's going to fetch jobs into the area.
I feel strongly that we need more than tourism on Skye. So we need people who are going to live and work and have kids.
Wow, this is stunning. But other residents, like Ian Dobb, are worried about tourism and the impact the farms will have.
The 2 proposed organic sea harvest farms are just out here, and the one towards Brothers Point, where they recently found the dinosaur footprints. Tour buses come here, bring people to, take photos, this fabulous vista.
Yeah.
People come from all around the world to take these views in. They'll go elsewhere.
Others say we need the jobs here.
Jobs at what expense? Beneath the surface is where the real damage is done. And even the Scottish Government's Environment Committee said that we could be doing irreparable damage to the sea.
Kate Forbes is the MSP for the Isle of Skye and was also part of the Environment Committee that published the recent report. You effectively said in that report, we can't go on as we are now. Well, these salmon farms being proposed in your patch, they are going on as we are now.
So I don't support, as some of my colleagues do, a moratorium on salmon farms. I do support that if there is to be any expansion, it goes hand in hand with more research.
Is that happening? Because the expansion is definitely happening.
Not yet, and that's where the problem is.
So shouldn't there be a moratorium?
No, because I don't think that rural communities should take the hit for the failure on the part of salmon farmers to ensure that there's adequate information and adequate research going on at the same time. Any changes are going to take a while. You cannot expect that by tomorrow, for example, we will have made a difference.
The following day, and the Highland Council is meeting to discuss the farm's planning application. Ian and members of his group have driven 3.5 hours to hear the verdict.
I'm also content to recommend granting with conditions, as the committee agreed. Thank you.
Well, not surprising, but very disappointed.
For Alex McInnes from Organic Sea Harvest, though, it's good news.
I'm really, really pleased. We have environmental challenges out there, and nobody's denying that. But I think the industry is young enough, it's robust enough,
to actually overcome these challenges.
So as this divided community awaits the findings of the ongoing Scottish parliamentary inquiry, work on these 2 new salmon farms will begin.
Thank you, Joel, up on the Isle of Skye there. Now, many of you will have heard the news of the passing of Dale Winton.